How is it going, guys? It is David Clayton from KZR Racing once again, and a little bit of a different style of video for this one. I was this video you're about to have a look at here. This is clips and videos that I got from my day out at the Silverstone Museum with the celebrating the 75 years of Formula One as the main attraction. And yeah, various little odd bits and pieces that I got to look at in throughout the day, including this was all the things you're seeing here are literally right at the entrance as you walk in through as you walk in, a selection of Formula 4 and Formula 3 cars, along with a couple of Barry Sheen's Suzuki 500 World Championship motorbikes as well. And just things like this. This on the left-hand side, just behind those cars and the exhibits, is sort of like a who's who of all the great drivers that have driven at Silverstone over the years. Not just British motor racing, but world motor racing as well. You can see in the first one, Jose Forlan Gonzalez, the first driver to win a Grand Prix for Ferrari, which was at the 1951 British Grand Prix. And as you can see, yeah, just all the great names from not only Formula One but also touring cars, sports cars, all of the likes, and motorcycles. As you can see there, Valentino Rossi, and that all the way back to Jack Sears, who won the first ever British Saloon Car Championship all the way back in 1953, I think it was the first one. But yeah, all these guys, all the great drivers who have contributed to the history of Silverstone over the years. A nice little exhibit of the 2015 Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton hanging from the roof as well. And yeah, tasty little treat just on the upstairs before you walk into the main part of the museum. This is the pleased to bring back V10 Brigade. This is the Mercedes-Benz V10 engine from Mika Häkkinen's 2000 McLaren, the MP415, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. A few other little exhibits at the top of the thing. This is one of the Yamaha 250cc championship motorbikes, along with one of the go-kart exhibits they got here. Now, they did have a little interactive section just as you walk in through this bit at the top of the museum. There's a little interactive bit where you walk onto like a starting grid and everything. I did film that, but I didn't show it because I didn't know how it would affect the audience, just in case of epilepsy and everything. But as soon as you walk out the other side of this little interactive entrance, you're treated to this site down below, which yeah, a lot of good stuff down there. We'll get to them in a little bit, but this sort of first section at the top was really interesting. I didn't know they would do this, but it gives you a little bit of a history into like Silverstone in general, even to up to before Silverstone was a circuit. That includes it being RAF Silverstone during the Second World War, where the as you're about to see, where they practiced with the Wellington bombers. It was actually the Wellington bomber training area. As you see, a little walkthrough on the wall here of all the corners and sections at Silverstone of the old Cops Turn 1, Luffield, Woodcut, and everything, and all a little mirage of everything through the years of Silverstone, including, as you can see here, the first and only time where the royal family in its entirety attended, with all the way back in 1950 with King Edward and a young Princess Elizabeth, as she was known. And this is this little one here. This little map here this is one of the iterations of Silverstone back in the mid 70s, during the peak of motorcycle racing, and this is an overview of what Silverstone was before it became RAF Silverstone. It was actually known as Luffield Priory before eventually, as you can see here, becoming RAF Silverstone, the training ground for the Wellington bombers. during the days of World War Two. And again, murals around the exhibit, as well as some period officer uniforms and clothing, what the pilots would have worn in the cockpit, and also in the mess for their off periods. Very few of them that they got. And a little overview of the actual airfield itself as it was back then, before it became the racetrack that we know today. And things like this as well. This little section here, this is all the names of the pilots that flew out from RAF Silverstone that sadly never returned during that grisly period in World War II. Never, all their names accounted for and never forgotten throughout the years of Silverstone. And just have a little look on the map here of all the racetracks that happened before, like all around the country and everything. This is all the pre-war tracks. So Donington Park and Shelsley Walsh and Brooklands, a lot of people were aware of, and Crystal Palace as well was previously mentioned, like in our Formula 3 races. But Prescott, just on the border of South Wales, Bexhill Hall, Welbeck Park, Gordon Bennett, and Skegness as well. Not to the sort of place I would have figured a racetrack would be, aside from the Barry racetrack they have there now. But this was cool. This is a replica as well of what was the British Empire Trophy race, the first place trophy pre-war as well. So quite an extravagant thing there. And yeah, this little section here as well, this little bit with all the information on, this details the lead up to the very first race at Silverstone in 1948, but also the very first Grand Prix that was held back in 1948, but also 1950 as well. And there's also, you can see just here on the, as we come up to it, the starting grid for that race. It's quite a who's who of all the people that raced back in the time. You got drivers like Reg Parnell and all Reg Parnell and everything. There's also young Alberto Ascari as well there that was on near the back of the field. So yeah, a real who's who of was back then, and all the manufacturers as well. Back to like Talbot, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, and ERA. And speaking of ERA, just around to the right of where this mural was, you can come face to face with this. Now, this is a replica ERA from period back in the early 1940s to late 1940s, and it's amazing how basic this thing actually was. Those tyres are so skinny. I reckon if you put four of those next to one another, you get the width of just one of the modern day Formula 1 tyres. But the cool thing about this particular little static exhibit is you were allowed to sit in it. You could actually sit in the car and have your picture taken with it. And you can see from my picture here, hanging out the side, exactly how exposed these guys were back in the 50s. With no seat belts, cloth cap and everything. It really was a really dangerous time to be racing. And then just in front of this ERA, there was this car here. This is a Mark II Cooper race car. Now, this is one of John Cooper's first cars that he developed for racing, for what would have been Formula 3 back in the day. It's a little 500cc motorbike engine Cooper, engine in the rear with running the motorcycle gearbox and chain drive as well, direct to the rear wheels. And again, how exposed you are. There's nothing to save you from a side impact. But now we get to the juicy stuff, because this was the first thing I saw when I came down the stairs from that exhibit. This is an Emerson Fittipaldi 1972 John Player Special Lotus 72. It is an absolutely beautiful exhibit, this car, and I was so glad to see this. I love the John Player Special livery. The black and gold is one of my favourite colours for liveries and that. And in the back of this car, a genuine Cosworth DFV engine. This is probably one of the best cars you can probably look at. Me personally, I was excited to see a Lotus 79, but I'm not going to complain with a 72. This is a beautiful car, and right next to this was a pair of Barry Sheen's 500cc World Championship race bikes in the full Hexon Texaco livery. These are his XR14 GS500s from 1976 and 1977. On loan to the museum. They have been ridden at Goodwood. You can see the Goodwood labels on the sides here, the 44 and the 46. These have been ridden at Goodwood in the past, so they are fully functioning 500cc motorbikes, and they are like the perfect part of the Silverstone exhibit. They fit in so well. And then behind that, there was this thing. This is a Zip GP supercar from 1984 with a 250cc Rotax engine in it. Now, I did try and get a good look at the buff for this thing, and the speeds this thing were comical, to say the least. Apparently, this thing at Silverstone down the straights with that engine could hit about 140 miles an hour in essentially a hyped up go-kart. So it's really fun. It's really great seeing all these weird and wonderful things that you never knew existed. So having that little 250cc engine push you up to over 100 miles an hour while that close to the floor must be quite an exhilarating thing. This was also a nice little treat here. This is a 1991 Ford Sierra RS500 Cosworth that was used in Australian touring cars, actually, by one of the legends of Australian touring car racing, Dick Johnson, as well. Always a popular figure in Australian touring cars, and he was, of course, the Ford man to rival Holden's main star driver, Peter Brock. So it was nice seeing one of these cars here from Australian touring cars. So it was great. Now, this is and then just across from that, we have the Leighton House March 984, I believe it is, or 986. I can't really remember the name, but yeah, this was the first Adrian Newey designed Formula One car, and this one looked a lot better than the one I saw at Goodwood 2 years prior that had its back end ripped off when it was going up the hill. But if we go just to the left from this, we find Red 5. This is Nigel Mansell's 1992 Williams FW14B. His World Championship winning car in all its glory, and this was a beauty to look at. I love the colour scheme of that blue, the camel logos as well on the side, and the white on the side pods. This was pretty much most people's childhoods. I do remember like this car vaguely in its FW15C variation, but yeah, this was the car donned in that iconic Red 5 of Nigel Mansell, which was not actually associated with Nigel Mansell. The reason it was given the Red 5 is because when the 5 was painted white, on the cameras at a distance, the 5 and the 6 looked the same. So with Mansell's car, they just painted the 5 red, and it stuck with him ever since. So simple little things like that could be associated with driving for so long. And look at how wide these tyres are on this thing. I've got like fairly big hands in that, and I don't even fully outstretched, they don't get halfway across these rear tyres, and the front tyres are not that much better. So big fat slick Goodyear tyres there that provided a whole load of grip. But the main key to this car, as you can see, the telltale sign of the active suspension in this car. The bulges on the top of the bulkhead behind the front nose assembly, the little bulges there to signify the active suspension on this car. Unfortunately, because the guide wires that stopped you from getting too near the exhibits were so close to the cars, actually, I was actually able to sneak into the cockpit and get the other little telltale signs. Those three little dials there were what operated the active suspension. They were not as advanced as the 15C. These were preset dials. So when Mansell got to a corner, he always turned the dial to set the car up to its preset for the certain corners. So yeah, that was great to be able to say that. This is the most modern car in the exhibit. This is the 19 not 19, sorry, don't know why I'm jumping ahead here. 2019 McLaren 2019 McLaren MCL 37, I think it is, or 39, one of the two. This was Lando Norris's first foray into Formula One. He was a new driver coming in to partner Carlos Sainz. And aside from the fact being a long walk round thing, it was so big. Again, with the guy ropes being so close as they are to the car, I was able to get right up close to it and have a good look at all the, you can see here. Look at the barge board assembly here. All the intricate aerodynamic details on this thing, which helps these cars stick to the ground on circuits. But if we move around to the far corner, this was a special thing to see. So this is Graham Hill's BRM P261, which he won the World Championship with in 1962, parked next to his son's Williams FW. Which was it again? I think it was the FW19 from 1996. Sorry, I got a little bit messed up in my timelines there. But seeing these two cars parked next to each other, father and son, World Championship winning cars, it was a really cool thing to see. And I had a little good look round that 96 Williams, especially in that probably one of the most iconic racing liveries in the 80s and 90s. That blue of the Rothmans just pops off, even more so than the FW14 blue. That blue of the Rothmans just pops off, and it's broken up nicely with the gold and the white as well. Probably one of the best liveries of the time, especially in Formula One. And then just in front of those, we got a selection of cars here. We had the 2000 McLaren, the MP415, parked next to Jenson Button's 2009 Braun GP 001, his World Championship winning car, and then Daniel Ricciardo's Red Bull RB 13, I think it was. I'm not too sure. I keep forgetting the names of these cars, but it's cool seeing these different eras of F1 cars all parked next to each other, especially when you look at the 2000 McLaren to the 2009 Braun. There's only a 10-year difference, but what a stark difference it is. But the good thing about that Braun being there was I got to get close behind it and actually get a good shot of the double diffuser that they brought to Formula One for that year. You can't see it from this angle, but with the next picture, if you get right down the bottom, I actually get to get on the floor for this. But yeah, I've had a good look at this picture for a while, and I still can't work out how this double diffuser works. It's such an ingenious piece of design and engineering that helped Braun, a cash-strapped team with no money left over from the Honda fallout, win the World Championship. And a few little other bits and pieces there. This was an F3000 Rolt from the late 80s that was operated by Eddie Jordan, his little racing team, and it was driven by Johnny Herbert as well. So, yeah, there's lots of very interesting little gems around, and of course in the little safety area, the thing dedicated to F1 safety, you can't not mention F1 safety without mentioning this man, Professor Sid Watkins. Done a lot of work to help save so many drivers' lives over the years when he first came in, and for good reason, because the next thing you're about to look at I'll show you the mural first. This is from 1977. They talked about driver David Purley, who at the time suffered the most highest G crash in history to survive. It was 178 G crash he survived, and that was the highest one from that was the highest one survivable right up to Kenny Brack in the early 2000s when he eclipsed it. I can't remember the exact G that it was, but it was close to the 200 mark, maybe even over it. And this is the tub from David Purley's car from that crash. That's it. That is all that is left of that car. And that tub is essentially nothing but a ball of metal now. The entire front has been bent upwards and crumpled inwards. And the first thing you keep asking is, how did he survive? That is not possible to survive that, but he did. And then we go into the technical area a bit. There's just a few little things on display items, and a couple of little things here that show you how things work. This was a cool little exhibit. This was a human gearbox from that was used in the 60s and 70s. Mainly for the British starter pack, British Privateer starter pack, with the Cosworth DFV and the March chassis. But it struck me that Hewland gearbox was the same size as that McLaren V10 engine that was on exhibit before we came in here. So yeah, it's great. It's crazy how technology changes everything. But then this little thing here, just little displays like this that show you how certain things work, like with the internal combustion engines, and there's items for like gearboxes and that you can change the gears on like a visible thing to see how it all works and everything. So when you go down here, it's just a nice little thing for your kids to see exactly how these works. And obviously when talking about engines, they have a few there. This was the 2016 variation of Mercedes turbo hybrid engine that powered Nico Rosberg to the world title. They had that along with the fuel cell that they used for that car as well. So it was interesting to see how that one packaged. But in terms of engines, you can't talk about Formula One engines without talking about one of these. The iconic Ford Cosworth DF-V8 engine. And I thought it was illegal to have pornography in public places, but here we are. Yeah, this was this was quite a thing for me, seeing one of these engines on its own on the stand, and actually being able to just like have a good look at it and touch it, and just, well, probably shouldn't have touched it, but then we got to, this was one of the things I wanted to show. This was the a braking comparison between like family car and F1 car. Now, with the family car, I managed to get full pressure using my weak foot, and then when I tried to use my weak foot on the F1 car, I could barely get 30%, and that was like trying to do left foot braking. I tried pushing as hard as I could with my weak foot. I even got my heel on there. That got it up to 40%. And then I had to use. Then when I went to use my strong foot, I could only get half pressure. So get my right foot on there, and I only just managed to get it up to 50%. That was. Oh, I couldn't believe the amount of force I had to put into that in order to get it to do what I want to do. But then, other little things around the exhibit is these race suits and whatnot from the times and everything. There's Martin Brundle's Benetton overalls next to George Russell's Mercedes overalls, Kings Lynn natives together in the same box. And then this little folder here, this little sheet is the driver signatures, because what they used to do back in the days, they had the driver's sign to say that they showed up for the races. And this driver signing sheet from 1992 British Grand Prix, and this was like a flashback to all the names and everything in this thing, like Senna, Berger, De Cesaris, Mansell, Patrese, Damon Hill, Michele Alboreto, Mika Hakkinen, Johnny Herbert, Gabriele Tarquini, Michael Schumacher, Martin Brundle, Gianni Morbidelli, Thierry Boutsen, Eric Comash, John Alesi. Just like all these names were racing together that you remember. If you can see it, Bertrand Gachot, Ivan Capelli, sorry. And then obviously you got the team signatures here. The team signatures you can see, like Honda, Marlboro, McLaren, Tyrrell, Williams, Brabham. Footwork was a team. Lotus, March, Benetton, Scuderia Italia, Minardi, Ferrari. All these teams that you remember from the thing, and Jordan as well, from when they first formed. Just loads and loads of different things that you can look at around here. Not just necessarily Formula One, but like loads of little things that might pique your interest, along with the, as you can see here, the sports car stuff. This was the Jota. This was the Jota section here for all their cars, and this was LMP2 from I think 2014 or 15. And again, with the door open, you've got to get a good look inside these cars. Exactly how cramped they are. They're massive. They're massive all on the outside, but they're not very big inside. And this is Jota's latest offering. This is the Porsche 963 hypercar that Jota run for the 2024 season, I believe it was. And it was nice to actually see one of these hypercars in person for the first time. It was really good. It was a really good reference to how the size of these cars. It's actually very, very big car. It was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be compared to what I initially saw before. But again, there's like all the little detailings around the car and everything. The Singer emblem on the shark fin, as a nod to the Singer Tuning Company in America, who do some work on old Porsches to modernise them. But this really, really big car. It's not as big as not quite as big as the McLaren, but it is quite a chunky car. That steering wheel, by the way, that's not the real steering wheel for the Porsche. That's just an exhibit steering wheel they put in there. But again, not a lot of room to manoeuvre in there. And then towards the exit, you get treated to this couple of little go-karts down here. One of which, this one in particular, was driven by some kid from Stevenage called Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. Anyway, but that's pretty much the gist. I haven't gone all in on showing you everything from I haven't gone in on showing you everything from the exhibit, because I want you all to go down and enjoy the exhibits yourself. All the exhibits are there until September, so you've got by the time this video comes out, you've got about a month or so left. And I highly advise, if you're into motor racing, you want to get down and have a look yourself. But for me, when you leave, you get treated to a couple of more interactive videos here. Now I'll show you this one. This is basically just you sitting in the pit lane from a driver's eye point of view, and it's showing you all the drivers and the cars going past and whatnot. And then after this, you go into what's called the ultimate lap of Silverstone. Now, I won't spoil that for you. If you want to experience it, like when you come into the museum, you get the interactive entrance. You get one of these. You get one of these at the end. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing for you. I'm going to let this little clip run through, because this is basically the precursor to it. But having this run in the background while I do the outro is a cool way to end off the video. Now, I do apologise for some of my inconsistency in the videos, guys. I have been very focused on my work at the moment, and going out days like this, I go out and enjoy the time I have away, and then I come back and I do the videos as and when I can. But at the moment, I'm trying to get them done, but with work and everything, I've got to work to earn my money, and then do this on the odd times I get the chance to do them. So thank you for your patience and understanding with that. I do appreciate that. I'm going to try and get a few more of these videos done, these out and about videos, as I can before the summer ends. So with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and everything I had to offer. Do feel free to check out the Silverstone Museum when you get the opportunity to. It's definitely worth a look. Not a lot of some of the exhibits will be the same when you go there for the F1 F1 celebration. They will swap some out, and they will swap some out. I don't know whether it's on a daily or weekly basis, but I do remember watching Aidan Millward's video when he went there, and there were a few cars in there that were different to some of the ones I saw, and they have been moved around a couple of times as well. So don't worry if you don't see the same cars you saw in this video as you might see when you go there, but there will be a lot of different stuff there. It is worth the time. You get to learn a lot of stuff as well, not just about racing, but also the history of the circuit itself. It's a really good thing to watch. So I do thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate everything you've done for supporting the channel. Do feel free to like and share this video around. It really helps. Comment on what you if you've been to the museum, comment on what you thought was the best exhibit, or what you saw in this video was worth watching. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these videos. I'm David Clayton of KZR Racing, and goodbye.